Boomba clap. Alright, well guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a little fight recap of UFC Fight Night Edward versus Brady. We're going to start at the bottom of the card this time, and we're going to run all the way up to the top. I heard a lot of other YouTube MMA guys, like, Bedtime and MMA Guru and Lucas Tracy and those kind of guys, just saying that this was kind of a dull card. And maybe it's because I've been skiing the last 2 weeks and I haven't had anything, like my mind has not been on MMA fighting, anything like that at all for the last 2 weeks. But I really enjoyed this card. There was obviously some fights that were kind of, lame. And I forgot the mic. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. But there were some fights that, were kind of lame. I'm not going to lie. Like there was some pretty dusty fights, but overall, I really enjoyed watching this card. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was the fact that it was at 1 p.m. Started at 1 p.m. for me here in Montreal, which is absolutely insane. I love like a midday Saturday card, dude. Give it to me all day. If I'm not skiing, I got off the plane at 11, got here to the apartment by 1. Dude, that's perfect. I'm not going skiing. I'm just going to sit here, watch MMA fights till about 7 or 8 at night. And I don't have to stay up till like 12:30, 1 o'clock, dude. Any day of the week. Give it to me. I love it. Anyways, all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed the card. I mean, again, you guys can let me know what you guys think down below, but I did enjoy the card. There was a lot of big names there's some pretty good big names on here, and some fights that I think everybody was kind of looking forward to, and there was some that definitely under-delivered, but all in all, I enjoyed it. So, right off the bat, Graham Kudeledzi versus Fernandez. Dude, we've all been kind of on, I personally haven't even been on the ground train for a while. And he's a good fighter. He really is. He's in good shape. At least he's not one of these guys. Kai Fernandez, he looks way more shredded in this picture than he did at the fight night. He looked kind of like a chunky, a little bit more not all there mentally version of like a Steve Erceg. He kind of has a Steve Erceg face where they're both kind of just like, you can tell they're going to slur some words and do some stuff that is questionable. But he looked really good. I haven't really seen his fights beforehand, but I knew Graham was the favorite coming into it. Was he the favorite coming into this? I believe he was. Yeah, by a lot. So by 400 minus 425, he was the favorite coming into this fight. And I personally had Graham winning. I wanted him to win the fight when I was, going through the picks in my mind, just because I want to see Graham win, dude. I want to see this guy pick up wins and go on the street. But it never seems to happen. Right off the bat against Fernandez, dude, he's been training with Ilya Topuria, doing his camp there with Alexandre Topuria as well. And he's got literally Guru is saying he's got like the Avengers corner, like the Caucus Avengers corner going on, and he absolutely does. This guy has got like all the superstars from that area of, the world minus Marab. I don't know if Marab was there, but he's got like Kamzat and then both the Topuria brothers in his corner, and he tanked her. He tried to pull out all the stops, and it just did not work. I think part of the reason why is because they're saying this on the broadcast as well. Like, when you are training with somebody new and you try to change your style a bit, sometimes it just bites back, and everybody has their own style. And I think that a little bit of that is what happened with Graham. Like, the dude is super tough, super durable. He's not going to stop. He's going to come forward the whole fight. He's going to do his best to win up until the very, very end, which is something I love about him as a fighter and why I want to see him do well, because he does try very, very hard. You can tell he trains hard. You can tell when the fight's there, he's there to give everything to it. But Kai Fernandez was like hitting with some really good low kicks at range, because he was definitely like fighting, more karate style, wide stance, long stance at range, and just he landed some really, really nice low kicks, but like in and out, 1-2, low kicks, really hard. And Graham was like, again, very on this like Topuria movement. You could tell it influenced him a little bit because he's a little bit more plotty, a little bit more down in his boxing stance. And, maybe, again, he's probably been working on his boxing and that kind of style with them. And I feel like, again, it's something that works well for them, but it won't work well for absolutely everybody. And I think for Graham, just at the very beginning, he just ate a couple too many leg kicks at the very beginning. Like, maybe like 5 or 6 too many leg kicks at the beginning, and it kind of slowed him down and kind of got Kai Fernandez in this, flow state, kind of in this mode. And they really hurt Graham at the beginning of the fight. Anyways, great performance from Fernandez. Graham just, generally couldn't get it going. He needed to pressure Fernandez like a lot more, and not necessarily in the second to third round when his leg was already battered and beat up. He probably needed to do it a little bit more from the jump. And I think really just make it a bit more of an uglier fight. Like, I mean, obviously Kai Fernandez was just trying to strike on the outside, and Guram was having a bit of a hard time closing distance. Again, it's not easy to do that, but you needed to take a couple of shots coming in, or just like at the very end of the third round when Kai Fernandez was throwing, he was standing southpaw because his leg was so banged up. I mean, he literally got taken off his feet twice and like couldn't stand back up. But in that third round, when he was southpaw, every time Kai Fernandez would throw a leg kick of any kind, he would return right away with the punch and step into range. He wasn't really doing that in the first round. And I think if he did that more in the first round, he probably would have had a little bit more success. But, dude, I mean, it's definitely slowing down for Guram Kutateladze. But great win for Fernandez. Hopefully, Kutateladze eventually gets back on the winning streak. But it's going to be tough for him to, like, really build up to something special here. Next fight, Nathan Fletcher versus Colin Loughran. Dude, this is a sick fight. Colin Loughran is literally built like a mini fridge or fire truck. Dude, his head is like melted into his shoulders and his traps. So the dude is bricked up. He's just a strong, short, muscular guy, and he throws like with meat intention. Again, in his previous fights, and also in this fight, and also the announcers were saying, everybody's saying it. He's very stiff when he fights, but he is quite fast twitch, and he is throwing hard, and he is, he improved from his last fight. Like, I remember watching his last fight, and he looks very, very improved from there. He's quicker. He's using the in and outs a bit more. And all in all, it was a great fight. It was a really close fight from Nathan Fletcher. He won he was on the Ultimate Fighter. And I remember watching him and thinking he was pretty good, but like it wasn't somebody that blew me away. Watching him in this fight, maybe it's against the opponent, Kyle Loughran, or maybe it's just, the actual improvement, but he looked really, really good. He looked good in the stand-up, he looked good in the striking, he looked good in the stand-up and striking. He looked good in the stand-up, and he looked good in the grappling. Obviously, he's more of a grappler, but his striking did look really, really good. And it was a super close fight. I mean, a lot of people had it for Nathan Fletcher. I think coming into that last 30 seconds of the last round, minute of the last round, I had it for Kyle Loughran. And then it depends on how heavy you want to, score that last round. First round, super close, could have gone any way, but I kind of had it going to Loughran. He was landing a bit bigger blows on the feet, and he did look really, really good in the first round. Second round, Nathan Fletcher absolutely just took his back and held him there the whole damn time. Kyle Loughran did a great job of defending. He was in some tough spots. He got out eventually, and Nathan Fletcher was landing really, really good shots. He was on his back riding it, not riding him, we're not going to say riding, but he was on his back while Kyle Loughran was standing up pretty much against the fence, and he was landing some really nasty blows in close, while having this figure four fully locked up, and dude, couldn't get him out of there, but did a lot of damage and just completely won that second round, no questions asked. Third round, Kyle Loughran actually did the same thing to Nathan Fletcher that he did to him the previous round. He got on his back, and then some nice punches, and then some nice shots, threatened some submissions, but didn't last overly long. And after that, it was kind of just a little bit of a dogfight. It was very similar to the first round where they're back and forth in the scrambles and on the feet, and they were throwing some good shots. But in the very end, Nathan Fletcher landed this super sick spinning elbow against the fence and cut Kyle Loughran up and was bleeding. And I think that last 30 seconds, he did a lot of damage. Loughran was there throwing back with him, throwing full force with him the whole time, especially in that last 30 seconds. But Nathan Fletcher was landing some really, really good shots, some damaging shots in that last bit. And that's where I see you could either sway that third round to either one of them. But, great all-around fight. Kyle Loughran, it's sick to see him win a fight because, he was definitely not necessarily on the chopping block, but, a loss here and maybe another loss, and that might be your UFC career. And he's a good fighter, and you can see that, he's obviously somebody who trains super hard. He's got a lot of passion for the sport, so it's good to see him moving up. And I don't think anything's over for Nathan Fletcher. He's had a really close fight here, and he's going to have more fights in the future. But maybe this is why I didn't think the card was too bad, because the Graham Kutateladze fight was he was just getting destroyed, but it was an entertaining fight because of how destroyed he was getting. And then Nathan Fletcher versus Kyle Loughran was a good fight. It was really, really back and forth and super close. Oh my God, this fight. I absolutely hated this fight. This was me personally. I don't know what all the glaze about Puja Toma looks hilarious in this picture here. Angry little teddy bear. It's kind of in between the short people where you have an actual your body shape is a little bit you can tell you're a short person, or you're just short but not a short person, you know what I mean? But she's got that in-between build. Anyways, Shannon Bannon versus Pujitoma. Honestly, dude, people were saying this was a good fight. This was the most entertaining fight. Like I heard Lucas Tracy say that. I hated this fight. I absolutely hated this fight. I mean, Shannon Bannon looked like she had no business fighting. She's literally like a full-on Taekwondo style, but like the athletics, like, I mean, okay, they're like glazing her for doing the high kick, like double in and like coming in with the like literally just the front side kick or like flick the toes at the face, and it's not going to do any damage whatsoever. The only thing she's doing with that front kick is, keeping Pujitoma back, which is, again, very non-entertaining. And she just, outside of that, her athletics are absolutely mid. Like, the body movement, just the way she's, like, walking and everything like that, just looks so awkward and so just not in control. Anyways, I really didn't like it. I didn't think anything about what Shauna Bannon was doing was, like, entertaining or impressive, really. Like, I went to the MMA sparring today, and I just sat there and spammed side kicks the whole time, and I mean, it kind of worked, but it was, I did like one round like that just to see it. I was like, bro, this is just so, but I swear to God, I looked more athletic than she did doing that. The balance she has to flick her toes and stand on one foot, like that is, that is impressive, but there's something about it, just like watching her, like, that I was just not a fan of, personally. Anyways, she basically did nothing the whole fight except for throw like these push kicks, and then Pujitoma had nothing back for her because, I mean, she has massive reach advantage to overcome. She did throw a couple of good strikes, try to step into range, but every time she was stepping into range, she's just getting hit with this like lead side kick, which, again, Pujitoma could have done so many different things to counteract this, like so many different things. Like, she's throwing that side kick. I mean, again, you can catch that. That's not that hard to catch. You can duck under and grab a leg. Like, if she had any kind of grappling, like, once she throws that side kick, she's on one foot, literally just run at her. Like, the kick isn't going to do shit. Like, just take it and come forward and, like, just grab a hold of her, take her down, whatever. Or literally, once she throws her two side kicks, which she did only threw two, like, pretty much the entire fight. Once that leg goes down, bash it with the leg kick. Bash it with the leg kick. Anyways, or just, like, she goes to throw that kick and just take it and come forward. Like, I don't know. I wasn't overly impressed, but Pujitoma did land an insane head kick. I think it was in the second round. Yeah, second round. Insane head kick and pretty much knocked Shauna Bannon out. Again, like, as long as Pujitoma was trying to close the distance and throwing, she was winning. She just needed to do more of that. I know it's kind of frustrating when somebody's throwing this side kick at you repeatedly, but come on. Anyways, pretty much had her finished and then jumped on her and was trying to get the finish, the TKO, ground and pound. Almost had it, but, like, very, very close. But then got caught in this, I believe it was an armbar. Why do I not remember what it was? I believe it was an armbar. Anyways, but armbar or triangle. Anyways, but it was there. Like, it was, like, very obvious she was going for the armbar, and there was so much time to get out of it. Her elbow was out of it. It was, like, out of it to here pretty much. She was not really in the armbar, and then she kind of just let herself get back in it and get it tighter, and then Shauna Bannon did a good job of locking it up and getting submission, but overall, I really, personally, people are saying, like, this is performance of the night, but this was not a performance of the night. This was, like, the most lame style of fighting repeatedly with zero athletics other than this front side kick to, like, not a fluke submission, but, like, Anyways, I didn't enjoy this fight, personally. That's just me. That's my take. Maybe I shouldn't be so harsh. You guys let me know, but I didn't enjoy that fight. All right, this fight, Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andreev Pulaev. This was a sick, before I say this was a sick fight, because I know people were saying this wasn't a sick fight, this was one of the more entertaining fights for me that I like, just because I've never seen Christian Leroy Duncan fight before. I don't know why, maybe I'm a casual, but I haven't really seen CDL fight before, and he's in pretty good shape. You can see, like, obviously he could be a bit more shredded or whatever, but, like, he's in pretty good shape for sure. But his athletics are insane, and his creativity inside that octagon is really, really impressive. He's very loose, very fluid. He's either intimidating you with the pressure, like moving around in the cage. He's very, very unpredictable, so you're, intimidated. Basically, everything CDL is doing is intimidating, whether it's just literally shutting down the angles, like blocking you off a defense so you have nowhere to leave, nowhere to go, or, like, when he does commit to shots, he comes in with, like, big, like, his punches. Like, the technique is pretty good. Like, the technique is very decent. It's not like, this is the most crisp, perfect technique ever, but it's good. And when he throws hard. And then also, so there's that intimidation factor. And then there's also the intimidation factor of you just don't know what he's going to do or throw next. And the creativity and shot selection and choices is really, really impressive. It was a great fight. And people are saying, like, oh, I should have got Pulev out of there. He should have won this fight. Like, he should have finished this fight. And yeah, there was tons of times where he could have finished this fight. But I think he was trying to fight more of a, smart, a more, how do you want to say it? More cautious, like, just a smart fight. Like, I feel like he's somebody that usually goes, like, to these, you don't want to Johnny Walker yourself, where you're just known as this, crazy, or Yuri Prohaska, where you're known as this crazy guy with no technique. And I think he was trying to be a little bit cleaner, a little bit more technical, while also still having this. And he just didn't want to make any mistakes, because I think that's just how he wanted to win a really nice, clean fight. Not like, do some crazy shit and like maybe get rocked and then, end up winning the fight that way. He wanted to have like a clear, like confident, like, okay, I'm refining my technique fight. And I mean, that's what it looked like. It looked really good. He could have got Andrei Pulev out of there, but it was a really good fight. And he's a really entertaining fighter to watch. I'm really excited to see him fight in the future. Andrei Pulev, like, coming out, he's the longer rangier striker, and he wanted to strike. He was saying, like, leading up to this, like, I want to have a striking match. I'm looking forward to someone striking, because he is a striker and doesn't, obviously striker versus striker is always entertaining. He was outclassed striking. He had some good 1-2s down the pipe at the beginning and some good low kicks and some good, like, basically high kicks, because I believe he's a southpaw in this. I can't remember. But CDL always has his hand up. He's always blocking the whole time. And after that first round, like, Andrei Pulev had nothing for him. It was just the intimidation factor. Like, he's like, I can't really do anything to this guy. And this guy, like, I have no idea what he's going to do. He's going to throw with bad intentions every time. And he is not giving me any ground. Like, he's not giving me any room to move. So, great fight from Christian Leroy Duncan. I enjoyed it. Like, I don't know what other people are saying, but I enjoyed that. This fight, however, sucked. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. Not that it sucked, but it sucked. I really didn't enjoy this fight. I mean, Marcin Tybura literally has a fanny pack coming over his shorts via just get in shape. You're a professional athlete. I don't understand whatsoever. Like, if you're a heavyweight and you're out of shape, you should, A, not be in the UFC, and B, you should be a lightweight in shape. Like, these guys aren't heavyweights. They're just out of shape lightweights. And they're not athletes. Like, they're good fighters, but, like, the people that should be in heavyweight are the people that, I know Francis Ngannou's, like, a freak of nature style guy, but the Tom Aspinall-esque, where you're a big guy in good shape. The Francis Ngannou's, like, where you're a big guy, you're in shape. These guys, like, that's what our heavyweight division should be. Like, they should be, like, the good, in shape people at that height, not the people that are just too unathletic and too not in shape to be at lightweight. Like, it really shouldn't be that. Anyways, it is. It is that. And this fight was okay. It wasn't okay. I don't know why I said it was okay. It was just a very lackluster fight, to be honest. Mick Parkin, there's, like, a lot of hype about him, like, being maybe, like, the next big heavyweight from the UK, because he trains at Tom Aspinall's gym. He's not the best fighter. Again, both these guys are very unathletic. Like, I would say Marcin Tybura is more athletic than Mick Parkin. He just has more of a gut than Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin's head is literally sunk into his shoulders like this. Like, not just because he's, like, trying to tuck his chin while he's fighting. Like, he walks around like this, and he's super stiff. He's like, he literally, like, he'll throw shots and he's not moving out of range. He's gonna stay in range and he's gonna take whatever comes back, and he's gonna then step back 3 seconds later. It's like there's a lag going on my TV where he, like, throws 3 punches, lets himself get hit, and then steps back. Marcin Tybura was a bit more creative in the striking, and we were kind of all saying, like, if this goes through grappling, like, Marcin Tybura should have the advantage. It never really did, and Marcin Tybura didn't necessarily do anything insanely impressive on the grappling, and didn't look like, he was going to stand out there. It was very, like, overall a very lackluster fight. I think it was just, for me personally, I think it was just Marcin Tybura stealing it in the last round, but it was like, it was one of those ones that could go either way. It wasn't insane. This next fight was probably my personal fight of the night. This was a really awesome fight. Loner Kavanagh versus Felipe Dos Santos. And, dude, everybody's been hyped up on Loner Kavanagh, and I personally really, really enjoy his fighting style. He's somebody that is built very similar to me. He's like 5'4", so he's a little bit shorter for the flyweight division, but, you know, more thick built. His striking is so slick. I mean, he's obviously been striking at the highest level from a very, very young age. Like, this is his thing. He's just a very, very good striker, but he is a very well-rounded MMA fighter. And obviously, again, like, being a professional, like, kickboxer, like, I think he's a professional kickboxer before, like, doing a bunch of kickboxing fights, like, all throughout his childhood and stuff like that, and also pairing that with just consistently MMA training over the years. He is a really, really good, well-rounded fighter. And we saw that tonight. Like, we all kind of knew coming into it that, like, striking is going to be his kind of advantage for most fights. But he proved that he has a full bag, he's good top to bottom in MMA. And Felipe dos Santos is no joke. Like, this guy is really good. Like, Felipe dos Santos is tall, rangy for the division. He throws hard. He hits hard. He has a very good creativity when it comes to shot selection and everything like that. And he doesn't take shit from anybody. He's coming forward. He is throwing. He is trying to damage you. And I mean, he hurt Loner Kavanagh in the very first round. And I wouldn't think it was over, but like, it was like one of those like, holy shit, like this could be over. And great job for Loner Kavanagh recovering. But Felipe dos Santos is no joke. He's a really, really good flyweight. So to have Loner Kavanagh come out there and win like this against him was really, really good to see. Loner Kavanagh's first two fights in UFC was, again, not like this dominant, like insane performance or like this like amazing KO like he had in the Contender Series. It was like a pretty good back and forth striking battle that he won, like decision wise. So like it wasn't like the hype was gone or anything like that, but it's like, is he as good as people think? And I 100% think he's like that good. He's one of the guys that's gonna in the next couple of years come and challenge for that belt. And I think the reason that like that last fight looked so close is because the guy who's fighting was really, really, really good at striking and really good in general, and a tall, rangy guy, kind of like Felipe dos Santos. But instead of mixing in the grappling, Loner Kavanagh just struck with him the entire time. He looked good striking, he won striking, but he didn't, add any grappling. And this fight against Felipe dos Santos, we saw in the first round, Loner Kavanagh's probably the better striker, but in the striking, again, anything can happen, and it's going to be a very close back and forth fight, especially like at the high level striking with any of these guys, for the most part, unless they're like a pure grappler. It's going to be a close back and forth fight. Like, he's probably going to win most of them, but it's going to be a close fight. And I think if this fight was all striking against Felipe dos Santos, we would have seen a 3-round decision that was very, very close. Not like as much of a domination as this. Maybe Loner Kavanagh would have KO'd him, or maybe Felipe dos Santos would have done something crazy and hit him with a big shot like he did in the first round, and it could have been over. Felipe dos Santos did an amazing job of causing damage everywhere he was in the fight. Those elbows, like, he's a skinnier guy. Those elbows were vicious, like from the bottom when he stepped in with them, when they're clinching, everything like that. He split Loner Kavanagh open, like cut him right at the first round, and he was bleeding insanely, like an insane amount, like throughout the whole fight, like from his head. And probably helped him in the grappling because there was a couple times, not like super tight guillotines or anything like that, or submissions, but he was able to slip out a lot of the time just because he was bleeding so much, Loner Kavanagh. But in the grappling, he looked very, very good. He was defensively sound against Felipe dos Santos. He avoided all of the submission attempts. He did a good job of, for the most part, when Felipe dos Santos was throwing elbows or was trying to strike off his back, he actually was headbutting the punches to take some of the steam off of it. But he did a good job of, like, taking the shots that were smaller, not avoiding the really big shots from the bottom and everything like that, and then coming in with his own ground and pound. And he was throwing really, really hard in the ground and pound. The ground and pound from Loner Kavanagh was very, very impressive. He was landing really big shots. He was throwing elbows. There was a bunch of elbows that, like, straight elbows right across the chin of Felipe dos Santos that I don't know how the guy took them, but he took them, and he took them well. Felipe dos Santos is a really good fighter. He's really tough. Loner Kavanagh was just a little bit more polished and a little bit more of a tool bag in this fight, and great win from him. It was really good to see him fight somebody like that, because I think that's going to be a good introduction to the next level of MMA fighters for Loner Kavanagh. I think he's going to run through, like, fighters up until, like, 10, like top 10 in flyweight, and then he's going to have more people like Felipe dos Santos, where it's like, it's going to be a tough fight for sure. Like, I think Felipe dos Santos is somebody that you'll see in the top 10 eventually. So great fight from Loner Kavanagh, and I'm really excited to see him fight more in the future. Definitely somebody to look out for, and definitely somebody I'm going to be watching a lot of tape on and just like kind of learning myself. Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla, El Taco Padilla, man. Chris Padilla won the fight. It was a very lackluster fight. This fight was boring. Again, like, up until the Lorna Kavanagh fight, like, for the most part, the Big Parker fight was kind of boring, but it was pretty entertaining, in my opinion. But this fight really just sucked, to be honest. Both of them were trying to be a little bit too safe. Chris Padilla was, again, has his master game planner, and he was trying to really make sure that, he didn't get hit with any shots. He stayed safe the whole time and got a decision win, and he did. But Jai Herbert, man, there's something about a lot of these guys from, like, not a lot of these guys from the UK, but just, like, I guess, bunching basically Jai Herbert and Leon Edwards together because they train at the same gym, but they just don't go. Like, if you want to win a fight, you can't be the guy throwing less on the back foot unless you have a crazy knockout like Leon Edwards did against Kavanagh. That doesn't happen all the time. That probably happens 1 in 10 fights. So you're going to lose the other 9 fights doing that. And that's exactly what we saw. Like, they're just not doing enough. If they were doing more, they would win the fight. If Jai Herbert threw twice as much and came forward twice as much, he might eat a couple shots from Chris Padilla, but he's very likely not going to get finished, and he's going to win the fight. And that's just the opposite of what we saw. And, I mean, it was a close fight. It could have gone to Jai Herbert, went to Chris Padilla, but, like, you're losing fights just off close decisions because you're not doing enough. You're just simply not doing enough. And that sucks. So they need to learn how to do more and throw more and come forward a little bit more. I don't know. It's something that always bothers me because I'm like, you can win this fight, but you literally just need to do do a little bit more. Take a little bit more chances. Like, you're going at like 30% right now. Bump it up to 70. This next fight, Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrier, was a sick fight. Some people said it was lame. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good fight. It wasn't a lame fight at all. Nathan Wood is really good. I mean, ever since I've seen Nathan Wood fight, like, people have been saying, like, oh, he's not as good as we thought because he's had a couple, like, losses. But I really think he's a really, really talented fighter. He, like, all in all, like, his technique, he's somebody with very, 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 very good technique. Everything he does is done very perfectly. He's very athletic. You can tell that this is that naturally athletic dude who has very good fighting skills, which we don't see with all the fighters. Like I mentioned earlier about Shauna Bannon, like, that's not an athlete. That's just a women's slightly taekwondo kick fighter. Anyways, like, somebody like Zhang Weili would literally just pick that girl up and just throw her across the room. But Nathan Wood is a very athletic fighter. And, I mean, so is Morgan Charrier. They're both very athletic, in great shape. Cardio-wise, both did amazing. Nathaniel Wood is just, his striking is just insane, and he had a great performance against Morgan Charrier. Morgan Charrier tried to strike with him and did a good job, but for the most part, Nathaniel Wood was just a little bit ahead, throwing the cleaner, just the more tight shots and avoiding the big shots of Morgan Charrier, and kind of just shut him down throughout the whole fight. I really do think Nathaniel Wood's somebody that can win, like, at the highest level in this division. He's a little bit smaller I believe he fights at featherweight. I'm ridiculous. Featherweight. But I do think he's somebody that can do really, really good at featherweight. He's a little bit small, but bantamweight, again, it's like, does he have the chin at bantamweight cutting all the weight? Because he's kind of like in between. But, I mean, he looked really good, and I think he's somebody that I hope we see him move into that top 10. And I do think whether he's somebody that can become the champ in the future, I do think he's somebody that's going to end up in that top 5 as long as he keeps going, keep training. He's just technically too sound for a lot of these fighters. And that's the problem, again, with somebody like Leon Edwards, Jai Herbert, where they're so technically sound that they don't want to make any mistakes, so they don't do enough. And we have seen that from Nathaniel Wood occasionally, but for the most part, Nathaniel Wood is doing more than enough. And he has good output. And he does have big shots. Like, when he lands, it hurts for sure. He's not the biggest puncher, but he's definitely not the like, softest puncher. He doesn't get these pillow fists. Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. I've never seen Chris Duncan fight. Jordan Vucenic, I messed that one up. Jordan Vucenic is definitely the better striker in this matchup, but he made some questionable decisions. He got rocked by this big clubbing. I guess what MMA YouTube's calling it, when you just wing overhand punch like this, turning it over, anything like that. I even saw Chris Padilla throw a couple punches, like, it's like an overhand, but instead of turning it, or after getting any angle on it, you just kind of land like with your fist like this. Not ideal, but he got hit with a big clubbing right hand and dropped him. Actually did some good damage. He shot for some takedowns when he absolutely shouldn't have shot for takedowns. He's winning in the striking. He should just try to keep his striking. We'll talk about that later in the main event. But great win for Chris Duncan. He got the guillotine choke and just there was no choice to tap. Like, it was a tight guillotine choke. He had the legs fully wrapped up, and it was just like, again, it was one of these things where it was just like kind of poor decision making from Jordan Vucenic. And there's a lot of hype around this guy coming into it. I mean, I didn't really look at his like regional record that much, but apparently he's got wins over Paul Hughes. He's lost to Paul Hughes as well, but like he's won against Paul Hughes, so like he's definitely talented. And his fight against Graham Kutadze was a good fight. However, Graham just got smoked. So, and he also just got smoked. But he's 2-0 in the UFC, so we'll see what happens. Let's get him one more fight. I would hate to see him go before he gets that 3-0 fight, or sorry, that third fight in the UFC. I think it's a 3-fight contract no matter what, so he's probably good. But like, dude, he's definitely on the chopping block, so he better have a good performance next. Molly McCann versus Alexia Tainara. I've never seen Alexia Tainara fight because I did not watch her contenders fight. This is her first fight in the UFC. We've all seen Molly fight. She's good. She went down to strawweight. And I don't know. We've seen this lately. Like, who is it? Jalen Turner, who came into this fight like, hey, if I lose this fight, I'm probably going to retire. That you should never come into a fight with that mentality. If you come into a fight with that mentality, I think for the most part, I just messed up my camera. Sorry, guys. I think for the most part, like, it's an awful like thing to do is to go into a fight with like, if I lose, I'm going to retire. But you're going to lose. That's 99% of the time what's going to happen. If you're coming into a fight with that mentality, it's just not a good mentality to have. You're manifesting bad things. You're manifesting yourself losing the fight. You literally are. Like, if you're coming into a fight, your only mindset should be, I'm going to win this fight. Not what happens if I lose this fight. Not what happens. Like, again, those thoughts creep in. Those thoughts, like, you have them. But when you're literally saying, like, if I lose this fight, I'm retiring, odds are you lose this fight. Anyway, she took this fight on short notice, both of them, but Molly McCann took it on short notice against the new opponent, who is, Alexia Tainara's mainly grappler, which is not who Molly was, supposed to fight, and kind of Molly's weakness. So it was not a good last-minute fight for Molly McCann, not a good opponent, but Alexia Tainara, when she came out dancing, having fun, looking totally in the present moment, in the groove of things, like, just there to have a blast. Like, you can tell this is somebody who is... That's a lot of good energy to have coming into a fight. When you're acting that way, you're again, manifesting. We're not going to talk about manifesting on the channel, but, like, it's a really good energy and a really good mindset to have coming into a fight. And she cleaned him all the way up. Like, once it was on the ground, she got the submission. But Molly was coming in, again, probably one person's coming in the mindset of, like, having a blast, like, I'm ready. Like, you can tell when she's coming out there dancing like that, she's confident in her skills, she's confident in her training, she's ready for the fight. Whereas Molly McCann's coming out there like, hey, like, if I lose this fight, I'm going to retire. And there's two different mindsets. And we're like, just by saying that, you can tell which one's going to win. You look at these pictures. One girl's smiling. One girl's like looking like, oh, well, if I lose, I'm going to quit. Anyways, it sucks that Molly McCann retired because she's a good fighter, but I'm sure she's going to do a lot of other, awesome things online. So, and this next fight, we've all been, not we all, like I haven't. I'm not going to hate on Kevin Holland. There's something up there. But people have been hating on Kevin Holland just because, for the most part, just because it's like, if anybody else was going out there and just getting paid and having entertaining fights, we'd all be like, yo, this is sick. It's just because he has so much potential and it's just not wasted. It's just not being used to its full potential. Like, it always sucks more to see somebody who isn't quite living up to their full potential compared to somebody who is trying their hardest and, doing their best. Like, let's say like Kevin Holland wasn't very talented, but he was trying super hard, and you could tell that this guy's giving everything into it, and he's at the same level he is now, winning with the same amount of wins and losses, same performances, as opposed to somebody who's like should be doing way up here, who's having this level of performance. It's just more disappointing. So, I mean, all in all, Kevin Holland, we all want to see him do really well at the highest level. He is an entertaining fighter. He just has these lackluster fights where you can just tell he's just not going to give it 100%. And everybody hates that. we'd all rather see somebody who's less talented give it 100% than somebody who's more talented giving it 80%. So Kevin Holland back at 170 looked amazing. Gunnar Nelson came out, dude's got an interesting build. He's got like this like orc up top build with like these like, not stick legs, but like his upper body torso it's huge compared to his little legs, his laggies. But I was looking at him because I haven't seen Gunnar Nelson fight in a long time, obviously, because he's been pretty much retired. But I was looking at him when he came out, and I'm like, this guy is not a very athletic dude. But when he started moving around that karate stance, I was like, okay, bro's got some moves. He's actually surprisingly. There's some of these people that are sneakily. I'm doing a lot of like little phrases here, but sneakily athletic, and he's somebody that's sneakily athletic. And he did look good in the stand-up at the very beginning. He got smoked. The first round was close, but he got smoked with a big shot from Kevin Holland near the end. And, I mean, bro thought the round was over, and Kevin Holland did not think the round was over and just threw some absolute bombs right at the buzzer. Hit him really good and definitely did some... I mean, Gunnar Nelson was pretty much out going into that... going to the stool after the first round. So, good for Kevin Holland. I mean, he looked really good in the striking coming in. The main question was, like, once hit the ground... Can Gunnar Nelson out-grapple Kevin Holland? Because Gunnar Nelson is this known grappler, and he's really good submissions, sneaky. But everybody's like, again, because Kevin Holland's last performances have been against people that have out-grappled him. And that's at 180. That's up a weight class. So Kevin Holland at this weight class of 170, his grappling isn't bad. His grappling is good. Do I think he has grappling, like he out-grappled Gunnar Nelson? Do I think he has grappling to out-grapple or to grapple with? He didn't out-grapple Gunnar Nelson. He did a good job of staying defensively sound and landing shots and, attempting submissions from the bottom. But do I think he has grappling to compete with somebody like a Sean Brady that we saw tonight? No. Sean Brady, when he gets Kevin Holland down, because Kevin Holland does end up getting taken down, and Gunnar Nelson's wrestling isn't near as good as Sean Brady's. But when Kevin Holland gets taken down by somebody like Sean Brady, he's not getting back up. He's not getting back up, and he's not throwing these submissions. Sean Brady is like the next weight class up level of strength at 170. And that's what Kevin Holland had troubles with. That those bigger guys that are like 20, 30 pounds heavier than him, just out-muscling him and holding him in dominant positions. And that's exactly what somebody like Sean Brady at the top would do. But Kevin Holland has all the skills, all the talent to go on a sick run at 170. And who knows, maybe he comes out there and he does some crazy shit and KOs somebody like Sean Brady right away. He's going to have a huge reach advantage against somebody like Sean Brady or Bilal or whoever that he ends up fighting. And, I mean, he could definitely get a KO before they ever get the chance to take him down. So it would be really nice just to see him walk in, focus on 170, and go on a run, put some performances in. It's nice seeing him fight often. And, again, like he said, he's just doing it to get paid. So we always say, like, that's okay. But it seems like a little bit wasted talent. So I'd love to see him go up a weight class or stay at this weight class and put it on a clinic against some more guys. Up next, Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. People were saying this fight was a little bit boring, and I agree. This fight was kind of a bit boring. It was one of those fights, again, where we were just watching people lose close decisions by not doing enough, like not throwing enough output and not coming forward enough. Jan Blachowicz, what he was doing at the end of that third round, if he had done that, A, from the beginning, but B, even from the second to third round on, he would have won the fight. Carlos Ulberg was landing more. That's, again, probably why he won the fight. It was a very close decision. Some people could have it to Jan. But it was a lot of, there was nothing with real impact that was landing on Jan. It was tapping low kicks, without a lot of power, just toes onto the shin, the knees, stuff like that, which is actually going to hurt Carlos Ulberg more. And Jan Blachowicz was, blocking, checking a lot of these low kicks where they were scoring the low kicks for Carlos, but Jan was blocking a lot of them, and that damage is going to hurt just as much for Carlos. So I do think Jan landed the more effective, bigger shots throughout this fight, but the output and the clip, he just was throwing at a lower clip than Carlos, and it was 1, 2, 3 shots for Carlos, 1 or 2 from Jan, and I think that's why he lost the fight. But it was disappointing to see. I mean, we all kind of thought that Jan would come out there and maybe try to wrestle, maybe try to grapple a little bit, didn't at all. So it was one of those ones. It was just if you had, I know he's 42, but if you had a little bit more output and he did come forward more in the fight than Carlos did. But if you just had a little bit more output and just did a little bit more, it wouldn't have been a split decision, a questionable split decision to Carlos. So, anyways, it is what it is. But I'd love to see Jan back and fight more. I think he probably will have some more fights in this, in his career. But it wasn't like the most entertaining fight by any means. And doesn't get me hyped to watch Carlos Ulberg. I was watching Carlos Ulberg like coming into this fight, and I was like, damn, he's pretty good, pretty athletic, got some pretty good strikes. He looked like he looked not as good as he normally does, in my opinion. It wasn't like, wow, he looks better than ever. It looks like, he looks like the same or a bit worse than normal. Anyways, it is what it is. The last fight of the night, the main event, Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards. I feel bad because this was kind of a boring main event, and Sean Brady, no matter what, is kind of going to end up having what you would call a boring fight or a boring main event, and it's hard to have somebody that's a champion or somebody at that top level and get a lot of hype behind them when they're doing that, but he's a really good fighter. He's really skilled. Leon Edwards sucks. I'm kidding. Leon Edwards does not suck, but he's just not as good. It's not that he's not as good as we thought he was. He doesn't go for it, like, at all. Like, you have this, like, the first, again, I brought it up at the very beginning of the video, the first Kamaru Usman fight video, that where he had that viral head kick, everybody's like, oh my god, like, he's insane, like, he's this finisher, like, he's not this insane finisher. He's this guy that wins, he wins close decisions against guys that are doing a little bit less than him, but he doesn't do much at all. Like, he was losing that fight against Kavanagh all the way up to the very, very end. And I don't want to say got lucky, but he got lucky with that head kick. And ever since, he's like trying to just, stay safe, bide his time against these other fighters and look for one big shot. And you cannot win fights like that. Like I said earlier, you're going to win 1 out of 10 fights like that. 2 out of 8 fights like that. Like, it's not a good way to win fights. You're very likely to lose a close decision. And against somebody like Sean Brady, he needed to, keep range a little bit better. He made an awful decision in that I believe it was the third round or second round. Third round maybe, but he needed to keep his distance a little bit better, and he needed to hurt Sean Brady, and he was just waiting a little bit too much, not throwing enough, and couldn't keep the distance. Sean Brady did a great job. Sean Brady's striking looked not like amazing, but looked very good tonight. Like, he in that first round, it was pretty close, but he hit Leon Edwards with very clean shots. Like, he would hit him with a 3-piece combo like a couple times, and it's not Leon's first 3-piece combo, so he definitely tasted it. But Sean Brady's striking didn't look that bad. His trips and takedowns from the middle of the cage, not against the side of the cage, were really, really good. And Leon Edwards Sean Brady is different than like a Bilal, is different than like these other grapplers. Like, once he takes you down, you're not going to get back up. And that's exactly what happened. And Leon just kind of didn't do enough, didn't show enough, didn't push it enough to get any respect from Sean Brady at the beginning. And no matter how this fight was going, it was gonna, I don't think there was any maybe, but I really didn't see Leon Edwards getting like a 5th round crazy head kick finish or something like that. It's just, it's hard to recreate those moments, and you cannot be trying to recreate those moments every time you go out and fight. And for the most part, it was just, no matter what, it was going to be a dominant decision win by Sean Brady, and he ended up getting a 1-arm guillotine pretty much. I mean, I probably added that second grip. It was kind of hard to see from the angle on TV, but he ended up getting a really nice mounted guillotine on Leon Edwards. Pretty much had it finished with a 1-arm guillotine. Leon Edwards shot in for a takedown in the 3rd round, which was, that was it. Like, he was coming, it was the 3rd round. So he loses the first 2 rounds, definitely. Coming into the 3rd round, what does he need to do? Keep distance, throw hard strikes, make sure Sean Brady can't take him down, outpoint him. Like, outpoint him well. Not by throwing less than Sean Brady, by throwing more, keeping distance, and stinging him. The first thing he does is shoot a takedown and ends up on ground the whole entire round. And then from there on out, he's down 3 rounds for sure. So now he has to finish the fight to win, which Leon Edwards, again, he's not going to go forward. He's not going to look for a finish. So the odds of him winning, not very high, right? Anyways, all in all, great win from Sean Brady. Excited to see him, who he's up against next. I think he's got a number 1 contenders fight. He did have a number 1 contenders fight right here, but I think he maybe one more fight in the title or next fight in the title, depending on who wins the next one. And yeah, we'll see. Anyways, great all-in-all card. I personally enjoyed it. It wasn't like a top 10 card, but it was really nice to watch it middle of the day, and it was an interesting card with all the matchups and everything like that on it. So I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a longer one, 45 minutes. Insane. I know, but I'm sitting here rambling. I'm having a good time. It's the first YouTube video back on the YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. I'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to get some fight predictions coming in soon for future fights. So looking forward to that.